as you know, we've been working on our Kaleidoscope, our 49 and Market album, and we're into week 3. I can't believe that it's week 3 already. Time's just literally flying by. And talking about fly, there is a fly here in my craft room, and it's going to get on my nerves, I know, but hopefully it won't come and disturb us, or won't be buzzing around me too much. It will disappear off and it will leave us alone. So I thought what we'll do tonight is we're going to carry on making the last 4 pages of the album, and once we've done that, depending on the time and provided we've had no sort of technical hiccups, we'll carry on, and I might show you some of the other bits that we're going to possibly do for next week and what I've done as well. But anyway, as a quick recap, so here we are. So tonight's pages that we're going to be looking at are the first of all is the corset tag. So I'm going to show you how we make this one. I'm going to show you how to do the let's twist again, where this one just twists out and opens up like so, and we'll close that. The picture frame, I'm going to show you how to do that one, and the final one for tonight is going to be the tag it. So if I just scroll that round, and then you can see that where you can pop your little pictures and stuff like that. We've actually got 3 of these on here. Okay, so that's what we're going to do tonight. So I'm just going to pop my album just to one side, just so I can, whoops, never enough room on my craft table, honest to goodness. I mean, the amount of stuff that I have on here anyway, but trying to keep everything organised, and that is always a fighting and losing battle. I don't know about you, whether you find this when you're doing your stuff. And to top it all, when I come in tonight, I thought, oh yeah, I've got everything set, ready to go. I thought, that's it, I'm organised today. I've got all the elements cut and everything ready. Went to sit on my chair, and I nearly ended up on the floor. I don't know what happened to my chair tonight. It decided it was going to have a bit of a field day and play silly whatsits with me. But anyway, so hopefully, with all that in mind, everything will be all sorted, and we can crack on, she says. So let's make a little start and look at our corset tags. So I've just got all my elements here. Now what I'm going to do is with the corset tag, I'm actually going to put this on the back of our flap page, which is what we did on the first week. So I'm going to turn it over, and we're going to set this up on this one, because we've only got a few sides left now with all our pages. So we're going to make a go with this one. Now in terms of the cardstock, see, look, I told you I love these little post-its. They're just so handy, little corset tags. It's got all my little bits of information on, which I'll tell you all about as we go through. I'm just going to pop those over there. Now, looking at my lovely instructions for the corset tag, what you are going to need are 4 pieces of black card, and these are going to be measured at 3 3/4 inches, okay, by 6 inches. No, tell a lie. 2 3/4 inches by 6 inches. And I've even got my glasses on, I'm telling you. I can't read my own instructions. So 2 3/4 inches that way by 6 inches that way. And what we're going to do is we're going to score these. So let's just get the little scoreboard up. Like so. Let's just tuck those bits out over the way. Now, with these, I'm just going to pop these on here. And what we're going to do is we're actually going to be scoring. It says here on the 6-inch side for 3 inches, because basically we're going to fold it in half. Okay, that's what we're going to be doing. So that'll come across like so, and then you've got it in half, and we're going to have 4 of those. So we'll just do those. Let's pop these on. Now, just to let you know that I've been a little bit busy in the back of this back behind the scenes, as it were. Couldn't get my words out then. And I've uploaded, finally I've managed to work out how to do it, uploaded to YouTube part 1 and part 2. So if you've not been able to catch these last 2 live sessions, you can go and have a little look over there. on YouTube on our Craftywafty channel. And you'll also find there's some other videos as well of things that I've done if you haven't looked at our channel before. And please sort of go in and have a little look and a like, and you know, just sort of give us some feedback. That would be great. So here we are. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4. Now on the main album, what I did do is that I gave us a nice little edging to it. So we're going to do that. So I've got my little corner rounder, and I think I'm going to use this one. So it's a We Are Memories key. Look, put my name on it so I don't forget who I am. No, it's when I go out. You know, it's like you take all your stuff with you, and then and then you end up going, is that mine or is that somebody else's? So I always label everything. Anyway, so I'm gonna hole punch, corner punch these. So we're just going to tuck that one in there. So we put one on there. I'm just going to do 2 sides. Okay, I don't want to do the other side because that side's going to be stuck down. All right. And then I'm going to repeat this on the other ones. Let's just make sure I've got the right one. I always like to do it up. I know it sounds weird, but I always do them upside down so I can make sure that the card's in properly and it cuts and punches nicely like so. So that's number 2. Here we go. Number 3. Tuck that in there. And the final one, number 4. Right, so there we are. Right, okay, let's just tuck that to one side because I don't need that for the minute. All right, so with the corsets, it's all about, you know, how we situate them on the page as well. So these are going to sit basically opposite one another. So you have 1, 2, and then we're going to have 3, and then 4. Okay, and then what we're going to do is put the fasteners on there to give it the corset effect. But as always, get my little burnish out. Just give that a nice crease like so, and get these done. Here we are. I'm just going to get this one done as well. That fly is buzzing around my head, honest to goodness. I need one of those fly swats. That's what I need. It's going to be short for this world is what it's going to be. Okay, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. Now obviously when I'm looking at this black on black, it makes it very difficult to see what you're doing. So I think the best thing is we're going to put our covers on, or our front pieces on, okay, and then it will show up a lot clearer for me when I'm trying to sort of work out where I'm going to position these. Now I've already pre-cut these to size, so if I give you, let's get their little ruler out, I'll give you little measurements. So this is 2 3/4 inches by 2.5 inches. Okay, and we've got 4 of those. Now I'm just going to look to see how I want to place these. Now obviously when you're using like directional paper, that is just making sure that, you know, your birds are up the right way, but also, like for example on this page there's a little bit of letter in there as well, so I just want to make sure that I get that round the right way. So I'm just looking at this and thinking, I think that would probably look best because you've got the 2 birds there, and but they're sort of looking different ways, so it's not too bad. And I'm actually going to corner punch these as well because we're going to get these stuck on. So where did I put the corner punch? There we are. So again, just lifting it up, making sure I get it in the right, trim them in the right side. So that goes on there, and that gives you a little bit of black relief around there. I know it's a bit hard to see at the moment, but once we've got these put on, they should be good. And then we're going to, oops, that's it, got a little bit stuck there. Okay, we'll tuck that one in. 1, 2, and then this side we're doing opposite sides. So again, just trying to make sure I'm doing the right corners. Always double check, because once you've done it, it makes it a little bit awkward. I have to recut more card for this. Right, okay. Let's just get rid of that rubbish. Just brought my bin into play there. Let's see how much rubbish I put in my bin. Right, now before we glue these on, I'm going to put a bit of distress ink around the edges. As I've said before, this just covers up the whiteness of the card, so when it's against the black it doesn't stand out like a sore thumb. And I also think it just gives it a little bit of something extra, you know, a little bit of, what do the French say, je ne sais quoi, is that what they say? I'm sure somebody will tell me that that's not right, but there we go, you know what I mean. It just gives it a little bit more detail, doesn't it? So here we go. I'm just going to go around and do all of these. Now feel free to answer any questions, just pop them into the comments, that would be great. Okay. Now I did think the other day, actually, when I've been doing these, I've done a couple of lives now. I haven't really told you much about me, about what I do. So I might drop a few of those little bits of information and tell you a little bit about me when we come a little bit later on. But you can check us out on the website, on the craftywafty.co.uk website. You'll see my little bio on there if you want to have a little read. Right, okay, so here we are. Got the card. I'm just going to glue this down. I'm using a bit of my favourite, love this stuff, a bit of bookbinding glue. Just goes around. Actually, I'm going to move that glue down there a little bit closer. And I'm just going to line this in. So as you can see, I've taken it off the black page. So I can just make sure I align it up. So I've got a nice sort of even black trim on that, like so. Okay, so there's the first one done, and then we're going to come and do the next one. So I suppose, like people said to me, you know, how long have you been crafting for? And honestly, I can't remember when I started. I know I used to do a lot of cake decorating and that, and I still do dabble in that from time to time, but with crafting, I suppose it's probably the last 15, maybe 20 years I've really got into it, like in a big way, you know. And I find that I like to try all different things. I mean, as a child I was taught how to knit by my nan, and you know, so I sort of did a few projects, and when we were at school we used to do sewing and stuff like that, so I would, you know, be making things. I was never really into making like clothes and that. I'd always be the one who wanted to make the teddy bears or the dolphins or the bunny rabbits and things like that, you know. But having said that, with the knitting, yeah, I would knit maybe some jumpers. I'm always making blankets and stuff like that. I have done it in the past. And then the last 4 or 5 years I've really got into crochet. I didn't think I'd be able to do it, you know, because I'm been a knitter for most of my life, but yeah, so I thought I'd give it a go, and actually I really quite enjoy that as well. And what I love about the crochets is that it comes up really quick, quite easily, you know, so I quite enjoy doing that. Right, okay, so here we are. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 done already. Now, I'm just going to show you on the original page, just so you can see here. So obviously there is a background on here, but what I did is because, I don't know if you remember, I mentioned that I'm trying to use 1 pack of the Kaleidoscope 49 Market range, like the main collection, and 1 pack of the solid to do 2 albums. I've set myself that challenge, and because of that, I'm limited to amount of big pieces of paper, so I've actually done this in strips, which is what my plan is going to be for this one. But we're going to set these on, and I don't know if you can see here that I've left about 1/4 of an inch gap going, not 1/4 of an inch, 1/8 of an inch gap going round, and that's how I'm going to set these other ones on, and then we'll sort of take it from there. Now, if you're like me, I like to make sure that I've got everything straight. So I'm getting a little ruler out. I'm just going to turn this on the side. Now, just got to make sure, because we've got a page on the other side, that I've got it the right way up, which I have. So there's nothing worse than if you stick something on and it's upside down. So I'm just going to put this across the bottom here at 1/8 of an inch. I mean, if you've got quite a good eye, then you could probably sort of guesstimate this, as I say. But I just want to make sure that I've got this just about right, and so that they're nice and level, which is what we need. Now here is the hinge part, which is the part for the page that will be attached to the main folder. So I'm making sure I'm about 1/8 of an inch clear from that on that side, and then that means I can take this one right over on that side. So while I've got that sat there, I'm just going to glue this on. So again, using a bit more of the bookbinding glue. I tend to use bookbinding glue for, like, if I'm sticking like the pattern papers and stuff down, and the red liner tape I use for construction. But there's no real weight in this particular page, so because of that, I'm just going with the bookbinding glue. So I'm just going to hold that together, and I'm just going to tuck that in and about 1/8 of an inch in, and I'm lining it up against the page here, so I can just make sure that we are all straight before that sticks down. There we go, and that literally is the first one done. Okay, so we're just going to repeat this. Let's do this side like that, and then I'm going to try and make sure I get these level as well. So this is where 2 rulers come in handy. So I'm just going to rest that on there so I can make sure that when I glue the next one on, it's going to be in line with that one as well. So that's about not quite 5/8, so that's fine there. So I'm just going to take that up a little bit so I can get the other ruler on the end. And then I'm just going to put this one at the bottom, and again I'm just going to rest it up against the inch like so. Now there are rulers out there that will help you do stuff like this, but the specialist rulers that you can use, but to be honest, I'm just showing you how to do it if you haven't got anything like that. Okay, here we go. I'm going to stick on the next one. Just making sure I get that into the corners. And it's like with anything, once you've done a couple of these, then it just makes it easier to line it all up. I'm just going to literally tuck that in, and that just sits nicely there. There we go. So hopefully, now if I take that away, that should be about the same. Don't worry about that glue, that will be covered up anyway, and that will dry off, so that's fine. So that's 2. Okay, and then we're going to turn around, and now I've got these done, I can line this up on this one. Again, my 1/8 of an inch, just going to come in like so. Just make sure that that's sitting against that, so that's nice and straight. There we are. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this one to come in at the bottom here as well. So I've got that lined up straight as well. And then that will tuck in there. There we go. Right, a little bit more glue. So the weather has been really awful. I don't know about you, but it's been raining and windy and everything. I mean, is that the end of our summer? Oh, I don't know. I hope not. I hope we're going to get a little bit more sunshine. That's what we definitely need. It's meant to be our summer, but who can tell with the British weather. Right, let's tuck this back in like so. Line that up, just glue that down. Right, I can take those away. There we are. That's number 3 done. And as you can see, that, you know, just at a glance, you can see how nicely that they're lining up, which is what we want. And then the final one. So I'm just going to pop that in along there. Just make sure that that's nice and straight. Pop this one along the bottom. There we go. I mean, to be honest, you know, most of the time I would probably have just done this and just stuck it on you know, just looking at it, but doing it proper, so that you can see how that can be done. All right, I'm just going to put on the final one. Let's just tuck that in like so. That's all lined up. Let's just make sure that that is still lining up with that. That's it. Now I can take that away and have a good look, and there we are. Let's pop those out the way. Right, let's give these a good press down. So voila, 1, 2, 3, 4. Just make sure that these are all stuck down, all the corners on the inside. There's my little burnish. Here we are. Give that a little rub. Okay. So now we can see that they're all lined up beautifully, and that's on the other side of the page that we've got for our album. All right. So what I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to do the cross bit, okay, before we do the little corset tag bits, because that will just help things pop, and we'll be able to see things a lot clearer when we're putting everything together. So I think if I remembered rightly, I cut these down to, these are 7¼ inch pages, so 7 inches is what I need for the strip. So let's have a little look here. That is bang on 7 inches. So I just want to check the depth of where the 2 inside bits are. So that is about 1 inch. Let me just check on this one if I've done it right. Yes, that's about 1 inch as well. And breathe. That's really good. I'm so glad that has worked out. You know, sometimes there is a method in my madness, I know, but at least that definitely works. Okay, so if that's 1 inch, I'm going to cut this strip at 3/4 of an inch. Let's tuck that out the way. Here we are. Let's have a little, just line that up. 1, 2, measure twice, cut once. So look, 3/4 of an inch, and I'm just going to take that right the way down. There we go, like so. Now let's have a little look and see what that looks like. Okay, if I pop that on there, what do you think? Because I think on the last one I actually took it right up to the edge of the paper. Okay. Do you know what? I'm going to do that. I'm going to take it right up to the edge so it fills in the gap. So let's go for 1 inch then, wasn't it? That was 1 inch. Sometimes when you try these things and you do different things, you have to sort of double check and just see what everything looks like. So let's cut down. That's it. So this should be 1 inch. Don't throw away your strips because you always need those, but various other bits and pieces. So let's have a little look. So that fits just nicely and snugly into there, like a bug in a rug. Right, we're going to ink it, and then we're going to stick it down, and then I'm going to do 2 to come the other way. I love this green. It's so vibrant, but it just really picks up the colours and that in the patterned paper. This is what's so nice about this particular range, is it's that the colours are just beautiful. Okay, so that is going to tuck in like so. So let's get some glue on that. Here we are, 1, 2, 3. Across the, it's a little bit hard into the corners, just what we need. Okay, and we'll get these bits stuck down, and then we're going to do the little corset fastenings. Right, okay, and again I'm just making sure that when I close that is lining up with the edges as well. So let's have a little look at that. That's much better. Look at that. That looks a lot better, doesn't it? It really does, and it actually just makes all the other pages pop, which is just what we need. Beautiful. Right, okay, now I'm just going to come along this bit. So this is a little bit wider, so let's have a little measure of these, and that is about 1.5 inches. Let's check to make sure we're okay on the other side. 1.5 by, coming out from there by about 3 inches on that side and about 3 inches on that side. So 1.5 by 3. Okay, so let's cut this by 3 inches. There we are. I don't know if you can hear that fly buzzing in the background. It's really getting on my nerves now. Just, as long as it doesn't land on the camera, we'll be all right. Or lands right in the middle of everything that we're doing, we'll be fine. Right, okay, by 1.5. Okay. Right, so that's one bit done. Let's just check that. That's going to slot in just nicely there. And then we'll do the other one. 1.5 inches. And trim that down as well. There we go. Like so. Keeping the scraps. Tuck that in. That's going to sit in just nicely there. It's going to look great. Okay, let's just do our little bit of distress ink. Like so. Just to sort of finish off that. And the thing is that although it's left plain at the moment, when we come to do all the fancy bits, like all the sticking with the ephemera and various other bits and pieces, and we can enhance it and put words on it and stuff like that, so it should look really cool. All right, a little bit more glue. Just on there. I'm going to stick this one down, and I'm going to butt this one right up against it here. It's closed, that's it, so I can just see where that line is, that edge. There we are. Just tuck that in. It just sits nicely. Make sure that opens up. Okay. Now, obviously, if you're making one of these albums and you've got all the papers, you're not doing what I'm doing and trying to get 2 albums out of one packet, then you'll be able to probably cut out a whole 7 by 7 inch square to go behind this if you want to. But I'm trying to be a little bit more careful with the amount of paper card that I'm using. So just tuck that right in, like so, and if we fold those up, and there we are. Okay, so that is our basic corset page. Okay, now the next thing we've got to do is the fastening. So I have made up most of these, but I have left it so that I can show you what we do on the other one. So I'll talk you through these. So just tip these out of here. These bags are really cute, these little clip-it bags. Okay, now this is what I've got. There's my little bit of cord and that. So this is what we're going to be sticking on. Okay, these are all my other little element bits. So let's just turn these over. Now, came across a guy called Paul Ford, who does a lot of albums and that as well, and noticed that he was using from a company called Cool Cats Craft Limited their folio strips for making these little these little things here. So this is what it is, Cool Cats cuts, folio strips. And I'll just show you what these look like. Now you get 3 sizes, okay, and as you can see, when you put these through a die cut machine, it gives you 6, and you've got 3 different sizes. So I've used the large one and the medium one. I haven't used the small one. But if you don't have any of these, then you can get away with if you've got circle punch, I would say a 3/4 of an inch circle punch and a 5/8 of an inch circle punch will do just as well. Okay, so you don't necessarily need to go out and buy stuff like that if you've got circle punches and things like that already. Now let me just explain how these have been put together. So what I've done is I've cut out several of these little circles, okay, and what I do is I glue 2 of them together. So that's what I've done here. I've already pre-glued 2 together, okay, because that I want it to be a little bit sturdy and hold the brad when it goes in, so it doesn't, you know, it gives it a bit of depth, because obviously you've got the length of the brad here, and if I just stuck it straight into the page, then these would be sort of sticking out and that wouldn't look very good. And so what I've done is I've actually trimmed some of these, but in order to get the corset thing, because what I want is my waxed cord, which is what I'm using here, to go round, and so I just need something for it to sit in, a bit like you know, like a little washer. So here we are. So I've got 2 cards, I don't know if you can see, I've got 2 cards stuck there, and then I've got one there plus the pattern paper, and the idea is that this cord will go through the center, and that's what you're going to wrap it round. So it's almost like making a disc for it to sort of sit in between, okay, and that's what we're trying to do. There's probably an easy way of explaining it, but you get my drift. So this one, did I stick 2 of them together already? Yes, I have. So there's 2 stuck there together already, and then I've got I did cut a few spare ones as well, so I'll just pop them over there. So I need to just put, and I've used pokey tool, because if you see on the ordinate, when you've cut these, come here, can't mess it, they have a tiny little hole, and what I've used is a brad, just not a brad but a pokey tool, to go in and just make that hole a little bit bigger, because I need to be able to push the brad through. So I don't know if you can see that. And what I found is that if you just push it straight in, you're likely to get your circle off center. So I just push it in a little bit, then I turn it, and then I push it in a little bit more, and then turn it to try and sort of keep that as centered as possible. So there's the 2. I'm going to use that one here as well, and we're going to stick our, there's our little circle, and what I've done is just actually stuck that on one already, okay, so these were just spare ones, so let's just tuck those over there. So what I've got here is 2 of the circles stuck together, another circle stuck together, and then the pattern paper, which I've just stuck on the top there. So these technically would be like your 3/4 of an inch circles, and then that would be your 5/8 of an inch, or you can take it down smaller. It depends on how big or small you know, in terms of what you want your corset holders to, or fasteners to, you know, the size to be. Okay, so I just wanted to show you what I did with that. So here we go. So this is the brad. So I'm just literally going to, probably need to make that just a fraction bigger. I have already gone around and pre-inked these. Okay, so I'm going to tuck that in like so. So you can see that there. All right. And because, now if it was just an ordinary one, I would put that on as well. Okay. And then I would, like so, and then I would fold those back and just have them like they are there, and I would have just trimmed them off a little bit. And these are what are going to sit on our pages like so. You can see that on our little bits of the corset like that. All right. Now, obviously, in order for the corset to work, I need to be able to make sure that I've got something to wind around it, and this is where this one comes in. So I do exactly the same, but what I've done is, I don't know if you can see, I've actually tied a bit of this wax cord around the brad, and then I've folded it over, and then that is what's going to sit like so, and then this is the bit that I use to go around it, if that makes any sense. Okay, now I've cut this wax cord, I think it's about 12 inches long, just to give you a bit of an idea of length on that. Excuse me, right, so let's just open it up. So this one, I'm just going to make one of these. So there's my little bit of cord. I'm just going to tie, just do a loop for the minute. I'm just going to pop that over the end, and I'm just going to pull that tight, And then while I've done that, I'm then going to fold back the fastener or the brad like that. So that's just trapped that in. Okay, now these are obviously going to be glued down as well, but let's just get a pair of scissors. I'm just going to trim that last little bit off. These scissors are no good for this. Where are we? Do you find that you have like certain scissors for certain things? Right. No, and they're just as rubbish. Right, okay. Meanwhile, back at the ranch. Well, there we go. I knew I had a pair somewhere. Right, okay. All right, and then these will obviously hold down, will be held down once that's been glued on. Now I've put that on there, I just want to give that a little push just to make sure that that buckles down properly. So I've now got the 2 discs, and I'm just going to go round and I'm just going to lift that first disc. So I've just put my thumb just between the 2, and I'm just going round because I just need to give that a little bit of a curl so that it makes it easier for when the black cord goes around it. So just lifting that up a little bit. Obviously once you've done it a couple of times it will work a bit better. So just to show you, there's the 2 discs together there. There's the 1 disc and the pattern paper on that side, and I'm just opening that up just a little bit, running my thumb round there just so that curves that. Okay, so it gives you that bit. All right, so that is the bit that we're going to stick on like that one, and then we need to do the end bit, the little tab bit. So for this one, it's literally just what I do is I tie a little knot because I just want it to have something to bite onto. So it's a little bit fiddly. I have to say that this is probably the fiddliest bit that you have to do for this album, is tie these in, and I'm all fingers and thumbs. Here we go. Let's just tuck that round and in. Where are we? That's it. Just pull that through. There we go. So I've got a little bit of a knot there. All right, and then I'm just going to rest some glue on the other one of the black dots, like so. Just going to stick that on there for the minute, just so that holds in place. And then I'm going to get my other black dot and just a little bit more, just a little bit of glue on there. Right, now this is where tweezers are handy when you're trying to do fiddly little things like this. Plus it doesn't help when you haven't got any nails either. So I'm just going to rest that on there. So it'll be a little bit of a bump, but then I'm going to push that down. Yeah, I can see the glue coming out from that like so. So just hold that in position for a little bit. Okay, and this is the end bit of our pull, end of our cord. So it gives us something to hold on to when we unwind it, like so. There we are. All right, and then I'm just going to add glue to the pattern bits now, and then I'm going to stick these on either side. So that looks quite cool. Right, a little bit of glue on those. Let's pop these up with a pair of tweezers. Here we are. Now what I have noticed on the Cool Cats dies is obviously they have a little centre bit to them, which has a little bit of a hole punched out, which you would poke through. But when I put these on here, I try and leave that little centre dot in the middle because I think it just gives it a nicer finish on there. Okay, oops, that wasn't helpful. That has flipped over. Right, let's put the other one on. Like so. And I'm just going to hold this down in place. And that is our little tab. So these were just spare ones. Let's just move those out of the way. Okay, here we are then. So now I've got one cord attached to one of the fasteners, which we'll glue on. There's the other ones for the thing, and then we're just going to get these glued down. Okay. Right, now I'm going to try this with bookbinding glue, because bookbinding glue is brilliant, and hopefully it will stick these down. So I'm just going to pop one in, and I'll come in just a little bit off the page like so. I'm just going to hold that for a minute so that really does stick. Okay, now the temptation is that when you've stuck them all down is to do the windy bit anyway, but we're going to leave this page to dry, and then we'll come back to this page. Okay, so now I just need to try and line up all the others as I go through. So plenty of glue on there. Now these brads, I found these in my stash, and the colours just match beautifully. In the first Flapper album I just used like almost a coppery coloured brad, but when I found these I thought, oh, these just set the page off perfect. Okay, so now we're going to put another bit of glue on there, so we'll just get these done. And again, I'm doing this by eye. I'm just trying to sort of space it out, make sure I've got the same distance from the edge of the paper on all sides. Let's move that up just a little bit. But again, if you're not sure about this, then just get a ruler out and try it with a ruler. Okay, so I'll just hold that one on. And then we're just going to pop this one on this side. Again, sort of roughly central to the other one, so it lines up with that one, but it also lines up with this one. I'll just hold those in place. Yeah, so I think it's always good as well to check out other people that make albums and stuff, because you get lots of inspiration. I find actually that for me it's about learning about other different pieces of equipment I didn't know existed. So like the cool Cats dies, I thought, as soon as I saw them being used, I thought, oh my god, that's it, I've got to have those, because they just fit for purpose in terms of when you're making the albums. And they do quite a wide selection. People would say, Deb, but you should be promoting Craftywafty. And don't get me wrong, I do promote our own website as well. But, you know, at the end of the day, you know, do like to share the information. So I'm just going to pop that one in on there. And we're almost done with this page. And then, like I said, what I'm going to do, I'm going to set it to one side to dry, and once I've done that, then we'll come back to it later and have a little look and just make sure it all works okay. But it'll give time for the glue to cure and stick properly. And again, as I'm doing these, I'm trying to make sure that they sort of line up with the ones above as well, like so. So it's really handy if you know, if you're bored one evening, you want to make up a load of these little fasteners, then, you know, just get them all die cut and done all in one go, which is pretty much what I did today. I just spent some time just cutting these all out ready, and then they're just ready to pop on as soon as you're ready for them. Okay, so I'm just going to hold those down. All right, so there is our corset page, and it's as simple as that. Yeah, so I'm just going to let those hang down there for the minute because they need to dry off, but you can see exactly what it is. And then obviously these open up, and the reason I call it a corset tag is one, corset because of the fastening of it, and also when you open it up, actually it looks a bit like a tag as well. So that's why I've named it the corset tag page. And that is that one done. So let's pop that to one side to dry. Excuse me just a minute. Okay, now Last week when we got cut off by the internet, I was finishing off this page, and I just wanted to come back to this page quickly. This is the square dance one, and I was just in the process of sticking the papers down and putting the magnet on. So obviously I've gone ahead and I've, under here is a magnet, and I've covered that, but the magnets are only in 2 of the pages. They're on that one there and this one here. Okay, and then the opposites of the magnets are in this little square here. Okay, and basically I've just cut this, I think the size was, let's have a little look, yeah, 2 inches by 2 inches, and I've just glued them in between 2 pieces of black card, and I've corner rounded them. Okay, so they just sit on like so, and then I've cut these at 1 3/4 inches by 1 3/4, and what I'm going to do is just give these a quick corner round and glue these on. So I just wanted to show you how I finished off that particular page, because we were almost finished that night, and yeah, it just went. So I just wanted to make sure that I showed you what I did with that. So that's on one side, and then I've got one for the other side. So we'll just punch these out. Just squeeze this one in quick. Okay, and I'm just going to ink round these like so. That's it, and then I'm just going to glue them onto the thing. So hopefully, if you did miss out on that last little bit from last week, this is what I did. I just made the little magnetic tab to go on the square dance page. Let's put those out the way. Bit of glue on here, and then we are good to go with this page. That's like so. I'll put a bit of glue on there, and then we're just going to stick these on. Oh, a bit of tweezers for a minute. I've got no nails, so I'm finding it hard to pick things up at the minute. Right, okay, let's just pop that in. That's going to sit just nicely. Just centre that. And I'm just going to flip that over and do exactly the same on the other side. Now I've left these quite plain because, again, when we come to do the decorating, I might end up putting some ephemera or stickers or something on these just to sort of finish them off. So I didn't want them too fancy. And if I click that on there, where are we? There we go. All right. Actually, let's turn that around the other way. These magnets always go one particular way. That's it. And there we are. All right, so that was just finishing off the square dance one that we did, which was last week, which was on the back of the envelope one. So I just wanted to catch up with that one for you. Right. Okay, so while we are busy faffing with all the brads, as we call it, a bit of faffing, I'm going to look at these next 2 pages. Just going to have a little slurp. Now tonight, because the weather is awful, I've got a bit of a cup of tea. The trouble with tea is it does go a little bit cold. I don't know about you, I end up drinking most of my tea cold, sort of getting in sort of right into a project, and then before I know it, I realise that I've suddenly got a cup of tea sat there and I haven't drunk it. So we've got the Let's Twist Again. Okay, and the Tag It. All right, so I think what we'll do is we'll go with the Let's Twist Again page first. I'm just going to move that over out of the way. Let's just take that off. Now on this one, this is our final page that hasn't got anything on it, so I'm going to do the Let's Twist Again on this side, and then I'm going to do the Tag It on the other side. All right. Now with this one, oh, actually, scrap that. What I'm going to do, because I've just realised, you see, this is where you have to think about things, is I'm going to flip the page over and we're going to do the tag it bit first. And the reason why I've just remembered is that I need to be able to push this tag right the way through to the other side, and obviously if I've already decorated the other side, that's not going to work, is it? So I need to do the tag it bit first, and then I can do the let's twist again. You have to think these things through. Oh goodness me. Right, okay, let's take off my little things there. So there's my little brad and my little enclosed fasteners, or the little swivel bit that's going to help with the tag bit on that. These are my pages that I'm going to put on there, because once you've done the tags, obviously it's very hard to sort of get these in. So I've got them cut already. The card stock that you need is 4 1/4 inches by 6 1/4 inches, and you need 4 of those. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and then obviously this is a patterned paper and everything else as well, so let's just put that to one side. Okay, let's just give ourselves some room, and there's the page. So what we're going to do is we're going to trim down the tag bit. Okay, now what I did was with this is that when I was cutting these out, just iron up where I was going to put the page bit on, like so, and I'm going to literally cut a 45-degree angle from that. Now with things like the quilting rulers and stuff, you've got the omni grids, and actually they give you the guide, you know, sort of to lead to, oh, I can't get my words right, the angle, that's the word I'm after, the angle, right, okay, for the cut. But if you don't have that, you can use a protractor. Okay, so I'm just going to measure down here, so I just want to see how far down I need to come. So this is my page. Now the photo mat I've cut, which is 4 inches by 4 7/8. Okay, I might end up taking a little bit off that, but I need a 45-degree angle coming from there. So I think last time I did this, I think I came off a little bit. Let's see. Right, okay, yeah, so here we go. So in order to use this, what I do is I line the 45-degree angle along the length of the edge of the page. You can see that. Let's move that up out the way for the minute. Okay, so that's the 45-degree angle, and that's what the angle it's given me there. And I'll try and work out roughly how far down I want to come, bearing in mind that that's my page or my photo mat that's going to go. So that's going to come down too far, so I'll just need to move this up a little bit, like so. And what I actually do is with these omni grids is that I give myself, I see where I am at the bottom here, where the page comes to the end, and I sort of use that as a bit of a guide. So that is coming down just along there. Where are we? Okay. Right, so I'm coming in on the 5/8 of an inch line that's coming across there. That's where the cross point is down here. It's just how I find it easier to do with this, but everybody's different. So let's just trim and cut one. Okay, so 45-degree angle, and then what I do is I literally flip the page over and I repeat it on the other side. So again, making sure that I've got it all lined up on the 45-degree angle and where I am at the bottom of that. Now another way of testing as well to make sure that you are cutting it correctly is that the triangle you've just cut off, if you stick that on there, you'll be able to see whether you need to go up a little bit further. And actually I'm a little bit out on that, so I'm going to come up a little bit a little bit more. And I can use that as my guide, like so. And to be honest, once you have got one tag done, you can then use that as your template for the rest, which is what I'm going to do here. So I'm just going to run a pencil line along there. And I know it's a bit hard to see black on black, okay, but running a pencil line on there, and then I can see exactly where I need to trim. Now, if you didn't have one of these rulers that you could use, then what you can do, which is what I did with the envelope flap, is I drew a line across, then I found my center point, and then what you can do is come out the same distance and then cut across that way. It might not quite be a 45-degree angle, but it will allow you to get the same sort of shape, okay. And we're just going to do the same on this one. Just going to take that along and along like so. Okay, all right, and there we have it. So I'm now going to trim these. You can see on the pencil line, actually sometimes it's easier to use a big pair of scissors rather than to cut across these, because it's not very big, and I can just line that up and cut right on that line like so. And I'm going to come down and do the other side. Just can see it easier, and I'm making sure that I put any pencil marks facing downwards so that when it's been put together you're not going to see that, or you can get a rubber and rub out any remaining pencils. But I'm just cutting it on the line. There we go. And our final page, like so. There we go. All right, so let's just get rid of those. All right, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. Put those up together, and actually they're not too bad at all. Let's just check against these. Sometimes be sure we've got them right around the right way. If they're slightly out, we can just give them a little trim all together now, so that they all line up beautifully together. Okay, there we are. All right, now before I put the hole through these and fix it to the page, I need to do the front one. I need to do the cover. Okay, so again I'm going to need to sort out a 45-degree angle. So let's get I'm going to pop that on there just so I can see roughly where I've got to get this angle right, because obviously it's got to come in with that 1/8 of an inch round the tag. So you see that on the outside like so, and I just need to come across there. So this is a rough guide. So if I measure against the, flip that over, where are we? That's it, I need it going that way. There we are. And I can see where I'm going to need to line it up. So this is, I'm just roughly doing this, so it gives me a rough idea, so I get the same angle. I'm just going to run a pencil line across that. Okay, and then I'm going to flip that over, and I'm now going to do exactly the same on this side. Like so. Okay, And then I'm going to cut this one and just make sure that it's the same size as the other one. It's a little bit tricky, but it's not too bad. Okay, and then we'll see if I've done that right. Look at that. It was like I planned it. You couldn't get much closer than that, could you? Sometimes I do surprise myself. Right, okay, here we go. So we're going to cut across there. That's it. Just clear the decks. Got all these bits out the way. Right, okay. So that is going to glue onto there. But before I do that, I'm just going to go around and ink it. And then we're going to sort out putting the brad through and getting it fixed to the page itself. There we go. Like that. Alright, so we'll glue these pages all together and do what we need to. So let's put some glue on here. See, I don't know about you, and if any of you do a lot of crafting, but I find that it's always hard to decide what side of the paper to use, especially if it's been printed double-sided, and you know. So often or not, I do tend to buy 2 packs, especially if it's one of my favourites, because then I can use all the beautiful pages. So that, you know, so you get the best out of all of it. But there we go. Right, so that is our first tag, and then before we join these all together, let's put these on. These are just my little photo mats. So for these, I'm just going to use a little bit of tape pen. Just going to stick these on like so. Line them up. That's it, that's the first one. Let's do the next one. Here we go. Obviously, if you're making this album for somebody and you've got the photos all ready to go in, then's the time to put it on. But if I'm making this for as a gift, then you might not necessarily have photos to put in it. So that's the second one, and here we go, the third one. Oops, a bit of tape on that. Okay, oh, I think I've killed that one. Right, I'll tuck that away. So I'm using tape because it's easier to remove it rather than book binding glue. Unless you're going to stick your page, or your photo rather, right on top of this, then obviously, yeah, go ahead with that. Right, okay, here we are, 1, 2, 3 tags plus the front. Okay, now these are going to go onto our page here. Now I've gone for the peach. I aimed and ahed about the colours that I was going to be using, to be fair, because I thought, oh, you know, there is elements of peach throughout the colours on the pages, but not as prominent as the pinks and the blues and the greens, but I really wanted to use some of the peach. So what I thought I'd do is that when I found it, obviously there's a bit of peach in there, and you've got a little bit of peach there, and there's little blobs here, and I thought that'd be quite nice for it to sit on. So this is what I'm going to put this on. But again, before I do this, this is 7" by 7" square. I'm just going to go around and ink the edges like so. I'll just get this all done. Okay, and then I'm just going to pop these on here. Now I need to roughly have a little look and see what that looks like. I'm going to flip this over because any markings that I do, I don't want them showing on the other side, and I'm just going to use my ruler just to get a rough idea. So that is 1 1/4 inches that side, that's more than that. Let's just use one tag because they're moving over a little bit. Right, so that is, so let's go 1 3/4 of an inch, 1 3/8 of an inch, sorry, on that side. Let's see if we've got the same on here, 1 3/8. Okay, so it's 1 3/8 on either side. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to draw a pencil line down because I want to make sure that I get this just right and centered to the page itself when these are fitted on. Okay, and then the gap from the top and the bottom, so let's have a little look. That is about 3/8 of an inch, and I think we're going about the same again, so 3/8 of an inch there, 3/8 of an inch there. Okay, so that gives me a bit of a guide as to where I'm going to sit this tag in, and then I've got to work out where I'm going to put the hole. So let's just take this out of here for the minute and work out what we've got in the centre, which is about, let's work that out, it's about 4, let's try and even this over, so let's have a look, that's about 4 inches and just under 2/8. So I want to come in 2 inches and 1/8. So if I move that roughly 1/8 there, 2 inches, that's almost centered, I suppose. Let's just put the tag up against that and see what that's going, if that's roughly to the center. See, when you do these things, it doesn't necessarily always sit right. So let's have a little look. That's 2 inches there, so that needs to come, actually that hole needs to come about there. And if I lift that up, that should, if I aim it against that, that's come down a bit. Let's bring that up just a little bit. That's sitting there. So it's always good just to try and work out, rather than just go for it, where you're going to put your tag. And bearing in mind we need the circle that's going to sit on there as well. So I think I'm just going to take that up just a little bit more. Oh, hello fly. I did say, didn't I, you'd probably make an appearance. Okay, so with that in mind, then what I'm going to do is deep breath. I'm going to take my pokey tool and I'm just going to poke a tiny hole and just see how that is on the other side. And that doesn't look too bad actually, like so. And then the tag is going to sit on like that. Right, now I've got a tiny little hole on that side. What I can now do is work out the depth down from the top, and then I can put the hole in, which is about ½ an inch. So we were, let's go on the back here, we were 2 inches across. Let's turn it round that way. There we are. And ½ an inch. It's about ½ an inch. Did I say ½ an inch? Yeah, measure twice. Measure twice, right, ½ an inch. Right, so I want, I'm just going to put a little hole. Once you've done one of these, then the rest of it should be easier to poke through. So now I've got the hole there. It's just going to wiggle that round like so, and let's just try this on here, line that up. Now the thing is because the background paper is plain, if you are slightly out, it's not going to be the be all and end all, if you see what I mean. But it's just trying to use these measurements just to try and make sure that you've got it as close as you can. All right, so that is not bad. I'm quite happy with that. So with that in mind, I'm going to take the others and I'm just going to use this now as a template. Make sure I've got it all lined up to push through the other ones. Like so, there we are. Do this final one here at the back. Whoops, that slipped then. Just be careful of your fingers. Okay, right, 1, 2, 3, and then the front cover one itself. Now obviously because I've got extra card on here, it might take a little bit. If you've got a bit of sponge or polystyrene to push into, that's always handy to do. Right, okay, so here we are. Got 1, 2, 3, 4 tags. Yep, 1, 2, 3, 4. 3 with the mats on, the photo mats on, and then you've got the front cover one, as I call it, and they all line up lovely with that hole there. And then we've got the little fastening that's going to make the twisty bit. Okay, so let's get these out. So let's put that to one side. So again, using the Cool Cats folio set, I've got 1, 2, 3 black circles of the large and 1 of the medium of the pattern paper. So I'm going to stick 2 of these together like so, and then I'm going to put, that's it, where are my tweezers? That's it. Oh, get those big scissors out of the way. There we go. Tap that on like that. Okay, now this has got quite a bit to go through actually, so I might try it with the 2 and put this on and just see how far we get through, because we've got no string to go round this or anything, so it's a case of, you know, seeing how deep the brad is and whether it will go through all the card okay on just 2 of the black ones. So I have got a 3rd one there if I need it. So we're just going to do a trial run with this. We're just going to stick that on like that. There we are. Centre that. There's my little pokey tool. Poke out all those little holes. Now again with this, just give it a wiggle. Turn it round. Give it a little wiggle. Turn it round. It just tries to keep that hole centered as much as you can. Okay, there's the brad. I'm going to pop that in, so push that right through, and now that's what I've got remaining, and that's what's got to go through these 4 and this final one. So let's give this a go. So I'm going to do one at a time. That one went through okay. 1, 2, 3, and the final one 4. So you can see just how much I've got left now of the brad, and then we're just going to push this through on the final one. Okay, and now I'm just going to open that up like so, and I'm just going to give that a quick push down just to flatten that a little bit. Aha, there we go. So these move okay, so we've got movement there, which is what we want. The brad is secure on the back there. Now if you're a little bit unsure about that, you could put a bit of tape on that, but I'm not going to worry. So I've managed to get through that okay with 2 black circles and the patterned card. I mean, it really depends on how thick your papers are that you're using in terms of how many black circles. You might get away with just using 1 black circle on your patterned paper. So now that is all done, that is now ready to stick onto the page. So I've just had a moment. I didn't need to not do the other page because I've already stuck it through on that one to stick on there, haven't I? Why did I not think of that first? I probably did when I originally made it. But yes, okay. Honest to goodness, sometimes I do wonder what I'm on. Right, okay. Let's get this stuck down onto page. Now that has got a bit of weight to it. So I think I'm just going to put a couple of bits of red liner tape on just to give it some strength. Because obviously you've got the weight of the tag, so I'm just going to put a couple of bits of red liner tape on the back. Oops, bit of fluff there. I'm just going to put, oh, now that fluff's got attached to everything else, but I will be putting glue on here as well, so it gives me a bit of wiggle room when I come to stick this down on the page. Right, where's my lovely burnish? It's a little bit awkward because it's a bit higgledy-piggledy. Right, and we're going to peel these off. And we're just going to go for it. There we go. Well, I have to say, doing it this way is probably easier than when I first put the album together. I think I was worried that the brad wasn't going to hold and I took it through the page, but actually now I think this way works a lot better. Sometimes you have to try these things, don't you? Okay, so glue all around the edge. Again, a bit of bookbinding glue. I'm going to put a bit on the red liner tape, so it allows me a little bit of wiggle room. Bit of glue. Okay, right, let's flip this over. All right, so this is going on the back. That's it, it's going on the back page. All right, and now I'm just going to line that in, making sure I haven't come over my hinge bit. Oh, and there we are. We got there in the end. Thank goodness for that. Okay, so that's our tag it page. All right, so our next one is a lot easier to do. This is the let's twist again. So let's just get rid of all my little bits of paper out the way. Give ourselves a little bit of a clear up. Have a slurp of cold tea. And we'll do the let's twist again page. Okay, so I've got here again a 7 by 7 inch square of patterned paper, because we're going to need the pattern paper because we need to attach the swivel bit on there. So I'm just going to go round and ink this up. Like so. Right, so we've got that. I've got a 4 inch by 4 inch black square card here, and so this is 3.5 inches by 3.5 inches. So the pattern paper, so I'm just going to ink that as well. I'll just get all of this done like so. Okay, and then for this bit I've got, let me have a look, twist again. This is 4.5 inches by 7.25 inches, and we're going to do a little bit of a score on this one. So we're going to score on the 4.5 inch side, and we're going to score that by 1/2 inch. So I'm just going to come down and do that. So there we are. You can see that I've just scored along there. Let's get the little burnish. Just fold that, give that a little go like so, because this is actually going to glue onto the page like so. Okay, And then the other bit of card that I've got here, the patterned bit, I do believe is, yeah, let's have a look, 3 3¾ inches by 7. So this is the other patterned bit of paper, so it's just ink round that. And then we're going to assemble this page together. This is fairly straightforward, this one. So we'll just come in and do this all the way around. Okay. Right, so, all right. So I'm going to put a bit of red liner tape along here. Let's move Bernie out the way. Bit of red liner tape, but like I've said before, I'm currently using the 12mm red liner tape, but you can use the 9mm, and we do sell this on the website craftywafty.co.uk, and you get 50 meters on a roll for that, so that's pretty good. We do some other thicknesses as well, or widths, width I suppose is the correct word, isn't it? Right, okay. So what we're going to do is, let's just pop these all over there out the way. But first of all, we're going to stick our page on. Okay, and that is, I don't know if you can see, that's where the hinge score is there. So this folded edge here is going to come and be glued just the other side of that, like so. So that's what I'm going to do. I don't know if you can see that, that's where it's going to go. So like before, I'm going to do a 50 and 50. So by that I mean I take half the red liner tape off, give it a little fold. There we are. Oh, fingers sticking to it. Line it up so it's up against the edge of the page. And we're going to glue that, hold that down in place. So the bit that's already been taken off, and then we just pull the rest of it off, making sure that that sits like so. And then we'll get our little burnish tool, and we're just going to make sure that all fits lovely. This is our paper that's going to go on there, so let's get that glued on so it's out the way, because it's right in my way with everything here. You see what I mean? Look, nice paper on one side and on the other. You see, you're torn between what you want to use, really. Right, let's go around and do this. Like so. Plenty of glue. I don't know what's going on outside, but there's lots of banging and clattering outside. I don't know what people are up to. Right, okay. Making sure that your page is the right way, so you don't want to be sticking it on upside down. Trust me, been there, I've done it. Okay, so I'm just gonna make sure that that edge is even all the way. A little bit of wiggle room with the glue. Hold that down like so. There we are. Okay, so that is that first bit done. All right, the next bit is we're going to glue this to this piece here. So let's get that done. And we're going to attach this bit to the little square like so. Now on here, I don't know if you can see, but there is a bit of writing, so I need to make sure that I get it the right way up when we attach it to the page itself. Okay, so that is that bit like so. And then what's going to happen is this is going to attach to that page in that corner there. Okay, and then we're going to attach that to the main page. All right, so again, I've got my little brads from what I sorted out earlier. Now I wasn't too sure which ones to go for, because I've got the bright pink one and I've got a light pink one, so I wasn't quite sure what I wanted it to go against. But looking at these, sometimes you've got to get it. I think the light one looks quite nice. I think the dark pink one is probably just going to disappear. The light pink one just gives it a different different shade of pink, but it still looks just as nice. But like I said, these brads, I didn't realise I had them until I looked in my stash and found it. And so all these coloured brads look really lovely against all the papers. So this is, so again, what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick 2 black ones together. So I don't need that third one. Let's stick that on there. Whoops. Lively little things. Right, let's get the, there we are. Right, so you can see what I'm doing here. Let's bring that over. Okay, now that's on. Right, just make sure that's lined up. Like so. And then I'm just gonna poke the hole through a little bit, because when I put the pink paper on, card on, then I can see where the hole is to line it up. That's it. I'm going to add a little bit of glue on there. Let's move those out of the way for a minute. That's it. Right, okay. Well, you've got no nails. It's not the easiest thing to do. Right, okay. Let's just centre that, so we've got that hole in the middle. Okay. And then I'm going to get my pokey tool, and I'm just going to put a little bit in, turn it, a little bit in, turn it, just to try and keep that hole centred to our little swivel. There we go. I think we're almost there. I did ink the little pink bit of card as well beforehand. Right, okay, moment of truth. Is that going to look nice in there? Because this is the last minute to change it. It needs to be a little bit bigger actually. Let's wind that around a little bit more. There we go. Okay, let's put that in now. Going to go in. Yeah, that's not bad. I think that's going to look really nice. Okay. All right, so what I'm going to do now is stick this onto the card, but it's whether or not I take it right to the corner or whether I come in a little bit. So I'm going to come in just a little bit, just so that you still get that bit of pink going around the corner. So let's add a bit of glue, and then I'm going to poke a hole through that, and then we can attach it to the card for the main page, making sure that I've got this again up the right way. So put that in on the corner. I'll hold that in place for a minute. So I've just got a little bit of the pink coming out. Worry about the glue, that will dry. And now I'm just going to poke a hole right the way through, so I can put the brad through. So that goes right the way through like that. And then what I'm going to do is now line this up against the edge of this bit of paper here, and I'm going to poke a hole through that as well. I've not glued this down because obviously I want it to swivel, so I'm just going to take that hole right the way through, but I just want to make sure I've got it lined up on that corner so that it all looks nice and neat. That's my OCD kicking in there. Okay, right, there we go. Lovely jubbly. All right, I'm going to pop this through. That goes in. Let's turn it over. Open up the back of the brad. This one's a little bit fiddly, this bit. Right, before I push that down, just check to make sure that that all lines up nicely. Right now I'm going to give that a push just to secure that down. There we are. So now this will be glued in on here. Let's just check the swivel. That works well. So again, because it's got a little bit of weight on it, I might just put a couple of little bits of red liner tape just to hold it in place. I'm not going to go as mad as the other side because there's only one corner, but we'll just add a little bit of the red liner tape just to secure it a little bit better. There we go. Oops, it's folded in on itself. There we go, that's not good. Right, like so. Where's my Burnish? Right, okay, lovely jubbly. Let's take these off. Left the lid off the glue there, that's never a good thing. Right, okay. Take these off, 1, 2, and 3. And I'd already inked round the big ones, and that's good, just double checking. There we go for time. Oh, we're doing just great. All right, here we go. A bit of glue. It's a bit hard to see the glue on this text paper. Plenty of glue on the red liner tape. You hear it's squeaking a little bit there. Right. Okay, I think we've got enough glue on there. And now I'm just going to turn that over. That's it, brush that all off. And let's just tuck that in like so. So we're going to line it up. Make sure it comes in just nice against that edge. Don't come down too far on the bottom there. That comes right in. Right, let's just swivel that out the way. Make sure I've got that nice line going along there as well. Give it a good press down. And there we are. So that page comes across, that goes over the top. And that's the Let's Twist Again page. So that's worked quite well. And then obviously we've got to tag it on the other side. Okay. One more page left to go. Can you believe it? One more page, which is a little bit tricky, this one. All right, well, I say tricky, but, you know, it's not that bad. It's just, I wouldn't say tricky, let's say fiddly. That's it. Oh, right, just, okay. Oh, I picked that one up by mistake. Let's tuck you back over there out the way. Thought I had too much. Okay, so these are all some of the bits that we're probably going to need in a little while. Got the little cords here. This is for the picture frame we're going to do. Let's just move everything out the way. Ah, right, just quickly before we get on to that, quick sneaky, the waterfall card with the seat belt. I went ahead and I just covered it with the papers, and then I just put a little strip here which was 4 inches by 3/8 of an inch down on there, just to sort of finish that off. And then I finished it off at the back with, oops, come on, with the little butterflies there. What I like about it is that you've got the pinks and greens and blues, which are sort of represented in within the papers that I've used to decorate that. And like I was saying the other week, actually, when you open it up, it's the look, be a good heart with positive energy, which I thought was quite sweet. So we're going to do the picture frame on the other side of this page. Okay, so I'm just going to tuck that up there out the way just for a minute. All right, so picture frame. Let me just get the album. There, here's one I made earlier. Oh, there's the waterfall from that one, just so to show you what we're aiming for. Okay, so on this one, now like we did with corset tags, you've got these fasteners on here, and if I unravel this, let's just take that right out. Okay, these open up, and you can see I've lined it on the inside as well, and put the paper in the middle there. Okay, that's what we're aiming for. And let's just fold that back over. Okay, and then these just go around. This is how the corset thing works. You see, they just go between those discs, like so. Whoops. She says, there we are. It takes a little getting used to, but we're around and through there. There you go. Like so. That's it. We'll just tuck that round out of the way. So that's what we're aiming for. Okay. Now, before I move this to one side, what you can see here is that I've left a black trim here, but not on the corners here, because I want to cut the corners down so it looks like the pattern goes all the way around to create the photo frame effect. And that's what we're going to do when we come to do this page. Okay, so I just wanted to point that out. All right, so for the picture frame then, what do we need? Let's have a little look on my sheet. We need 2 inches by 7 inches. Okay, 1, 2, 3, and you need 4 of those, because these are going to give you your frame on the outside. These are the pattern papers. We're just going to put them to one side for a minute. All right, now I need my little scoreboard. Let's get the scoreboard out. Oh, goodness me. And we're going to score on the 2-inch side for these. Okay, and we're going to score 1/2 inch just on one side. On the 2-inch side, we're just scoring 1/2 inch. That's one. Here we go. 2, 3, and our final one is 4. Okay, let's click that out of the way. We're not going to need you anymore this evening, I don't think. Right, and we're just going to fold over. I'm just going to burnish. There's one. I'll just do the others. Here we go, number 2. Whoops. 2. And number 3. And the final one, number 4. Okay. Now on 2 of these, we are going to cut a 45-degree angle, but the other 2 we're going to leave straight. Okay, and these are the ones that are going to come down the side of our page. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to bung some red liner tape on here first. Whoops, there we are. There we go. Oh, sticking to my fingers. Right, let's just, all right, so that's one side done. So it's turning around that way, be easier to do. I was doing a bit cack-handed when I. Right, okay, and here we go. I'm going to do the other one this side. Okay, that's it. So there are 2, and we'll put the red liner tape on these while we've got these, and then we'll cut the angle. I think it'll probably be easier. Okay. So, as I was saying earlier, I've been doing a lot of crafts. I have my friend and I, we call it the squirrel effect. You know, you see a craft and you go, oh, yes, I want to have a go at that. And that's it. You know, so this is why I end up doing all sorts of crafts, whether it's knitting, crochet, whether it's sewing, quilting, macrame, what else do I do? Obviously the album making, a lot of paper craft stuff as well, book folding, you name it. I love to have a go at pretty much anything. You know, if it's something new, I like making things 3D as well. So I just like to have a go at a bit of everything, really. I don't want to miss out. Does that make sense? Does anybody else feel like that? I know I do. I feel like I just want to make everything, you know, and have a go. That's what it's all about. Bit of calligraphy, bit of painting, you know. If it's there and it's to hand, I'll get to have a go, I'll have a go. Right, okay, 45-degree angle. Here we are. So back to my little ruler. Again, if you haven't got 45-degree, or if you haven't got a quilting ruler, then obviously a protractor you can use. I'm going to use my 45-degree angle line here. Now this is a little bit awkward because obviously it's going to come right off the page here, and I want it to cut from there to there. So I'm going to have to turn this around and try and see if I can work out the best way of cutting this 45-degree angle. Let's have a little play. See if I line it up. Ah, there we are. Right, if I line it up along the bottom, the 45-degree angle. See, sometimes you just have to get these in the right way. Right, I'm going to line it up there. I'm going to take that right to the corner because I want to be able to cut it so I get a nice, neat, what's going to look like a mitered corner when we've finished. Okay, so just making sure that that is lined up. Sometimes, just a little tip, I find that trying to look through the black onto here can be a little bit awkward. Right, let me just grab a bit of, so I pop a little bit of white paper underneath and then I can get my angle better. I can see what I'm doing. Does that make sense? Hopefully it does. Just a little tip. Depends what colour your cutting mat is. Right now I've got that lined up beautifully. I can see that line and I'm going to go for it. I'm going to come across and just cut right across that. Like so. There we are. Now obviously I've got the little bit on there, but I will trim that off as well. Let's just cut that. So it gives you a nice sort of zigzag finish there, because when you come to put this together you want them to be able to sit without having any bulk. You'll see what I mean when we get to that bit. Okay, so let's turn this around, line up the 45-degree angle along the bottom again like I did, get it right into that corner like so, making sure that's okay. It's going to be a little bit tricky because I'm coming over the top of that red liner tape that I folded there, but if I score that a couple of times that should cut right through. There we are, like so. So that is our 45-degree angle on one piece. We're going to repeat exactly the same on this second piece. Okay, so line that up along the bottom. Get that right to the edge, like so. And again, using the white bit of paper underneath, I can see it's so much easier. Whoops, that's stuck to my. Right, okay. Okay, so that's that one. Let's just trim that last little bit off there. So, okay, and then we're going to flip this over and we're going to do exactly the same on the other bit. Now this is what I call the cheats version of doing your mitered corners, so it looks like a really good corner. Because trying to cut 45-degree angle and trying to get them lined up can be a little bit tricky. Right, okay, I'm going to leave that bit of tape over there because I'm going to need that in a minute. All right, so here we go. So I've got two, so this is going to be the top and the bottom, okay, and then these two are going to come in on the side. Now this is why I've only just cut one of those, because when you look here, as soon as I put that over that edge bit there, immediately it gives me a beautiful 45-degree angle look. So it looks like I've cut two pieces together. I mean, if I put these together, I might be slightly out. In fact, I probably am just a fraction out. But if you do it across a straight bit, it doesn't notice. And I just think of that. Cheats. It's a little cheat thing. All right, that's what it is. So that's what I do. All right. So let's get probably the easiest thing to do is put your 45-degree angle ones on first, and then your other ones on afterwards. Or not. No, actually, let's change that. No, I'm going to put these long ones on first. But what I do need to do is trim off these corners here, these edges here as well, like we have on these ones, so I don't get any of that bulk. So I'm just going to cut across there and cut across there as well. And then we're going to do the same on these ones. One, and here we go. Two. Let's get those bits out of the way. Right, so let's put these on first. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the one on the outside first, and then I'm going to go round and do these individually because I want them to be able to slot in properly together, if that makes sense. A little bit fiddly, but we'll get there. Okay, so half and half. So take half the red liner tape off. Going to line this up almost to the edge of the page, just allowing for a little bit. I'm going to straighten that up a little bit, like so. Glue down the bit, hold that in place, make sure I've got a nice alignment on that, pull that out. Okay, there's the first one in. And breathe. Right. Okay, next. Oh, I've been told to stand up. Right, then we're going to do the next one. Okay, so when this comes in, what I try and do is just slide it in so I can see roughly where that's going to sit, which is going to be right along that lovely bottom edge there. Okay. And then this one's going to come in, and that's going to sit on that side as well, and it just gives me a bit of an idea as to where I'm going to slot these in, just in case I need to do a little bit of trimming. And I think, looking at these pages, I might just have to do a fraction, but we'll see. Okay, right, I'm going to stick this one on now as well. So again, we're going to take the red liner tape, do half and half. Here we go. I'm going to put this right against the hinge part of the page. Hold that in place. Let's peel this off. There we are. So, all right, so that's those two bits. Right, and now we're going to come in with these. So I can see, now you can see why I've said to slightly taper these down, or might have cut these, so you don't get it as bulky in the corners. Okay, when that comes up like so, actually I think we might just get away with it. Okay, and then I can put these on now. So again, we're going to do half and half. It's a little bit more fiddly because you're trying to get it in between the two pieces that you've already put in situ. Right, so that's right against that edge. Stick that down, pull that away. Okay, right, let's go. So that will go across and that will go across, and they line up fairly well. We might give those a little bit of a burnish. It's a little bit humpy bumpy because obviously you've got the waterfall card on the other side, so just be careful with your burnishing and that. Okay, so that is that one done on the bottom, and they line up nice. And now we're going to just do the same on the top. So that will go in and in. And again, we're just going to do this half and half. And once we've got these in situ, then we can crack on with the decorating bit and putting the little fasteners on. Okay. Right. Okay, so again I'm going to line those in and miter those corners so we shouldn't get too much bulk. So hold that in place, just pull that last bit off, drop down, and there we are. Right, let's take that out in the middle. Okay, so there's our frame. Now just notice that a little bit of the top here is just catching, so I am just going to trim off a little bit of these, just so it sits. It's not going to affect the frame because these in effect are going to be hidden underneath, so that now sits much better on there. Sometimes you have to do a few slight adjustments, which is fine. There's always a way around it. Like so. That one fits in better now. I think it's this one down here. It's giving us a little bit of jip. Let's just trim off. It's always a bit awkward doing it this way. There we are. It's good to see me do stuff like this because then you know that it's what to do if it happens to you. Here we go. Right, I think let's just check these now. Do these all fold over okay? That looks a lot better, doesn't it? Much better. Okay. All right. So finally, we're on to the decorating bit. So here are my pieces that I've cut out in terms of the length for these, but I just not trimmed them down, so I just need to do those a little bit. And these have got letters on them, so I just need to be careful which ones I use which way, for the way that the letters are going to go. But I think we're all good. I think we are all good. All good, she says. That's what we want. Okay. So let's have a little measure then. So the width of this is 1.5 inches. So these should be 1.25. And these are 1.5. So let's trim these down to 1.25. There we go. Oops. Da, da, da. Right, let's just check that. 1.25. Yeah, I reckon that's going to work. And we've got the little bit of the black trim there. And then we've got 1.25 again on this one. So I don't know if anybody's got any questions or wants to say hi or anything. You know, I'm quite happy to have a chit chat if anybody wants to say hello or let me know who's out there watching. always good. Okay, and then we'll just do these other bits, 1 1/4 inch. And then we're going to ink round these. Just take these bits off. There we go. And 1 more to go, and then we'll ink around them in just a minute. Okay. Like so. Right, okay. Oops. Right, so I've got, right, that one I'm going to put across the bottom. Let's have a little look at these. They can go, actually that one can go across down the bottom, that one can go across the top, and then these can come down the side. So the 2 side ones we can just glue on as they are. Okay, once we've done the inking, so let's get that done. Here we are, my little distress ink. Again, by the way, I'm using I know I've mentioned it before in my previous videos, but this is black soot. I just find it you know, it helps blend the white core of the paper into the black paper background that I'm using. We're just going to stick like so. There we are. I'll just quickly ink around these. So they're the 2 sides. And then again, because we've got our 45-degree angle, we're going to have to trim them off at 45 degrees so that they will sit properly. So let's just do that. So my lovely quilting ruler again. Okay, where's my little bit of white card so I can see what I'm doing underneath. All right, so it's my 45-degree angle. Just going to come along, line that up against that corner edge of the card so I can see exactly where that's going to be. There we are, and cut that off, and then we're going to flip it and we're going to do exactly the same 45-degree angle, making sure that I'm cutting it the right way. And I haven't got the diagonal going the opposite way, if you see what I mean. So we just cut that across like so. Moment of truth, people. Shall we see if it works? Dun dun dun. Right, okay. So that sits just nicely like that on there, and that tucks in. Now I realise that what I have done actually is I've cut these a little too short, because originally I was going to have it going up against the page, but do you know what? It's a different album, different look. We'll go with it. Okay. I'm not going to worry about that. It doesn't matter. As long as it's the same all the way round, it doesn't matter. Sometimes, perhaps it, you know, perhaps it will look better. Who knows? But I'm really not going to stress about it. At the end of the day, it's all meant to be fun. Right, okay, just trim that one off. And then the final one. And then we'll get these ones inked up. Like so, just line that in. And again, using this white bit of paper just helps me see the edge of the card better. So if you're not great with your cutting or your eyesight's going, I think mine is, we can do that. Right, okay, here we are. So the last bit in terms of our inking, just going to ink round like so. I'll just do this one. That's lovely jubbly. Just pop round that as well. Okay. All right. So we're going to stick these in. Now I've also got a 7" by 7" sheet of card here as well, which will sit in the centre. So actually, while I've got the ink out, I might as well ink that as well. We can get that into play, because that will help us as well in terms of lining up all the edges of our frame. I just sometimes find that when you're working with black on black, it does make it a little awkward to see everything properly. So let's just go through and do this. There we are. So that will sit in the middle, and I've picked the green because you've got some nice green here in the paisley pattern. So let's get that glued on and get that sheet out the way. Oh, come on, glue. I think it's a glue. I think it's me actually. Come on. Not squeezing it hard enough. There we go. It's overworked, this glue tonight. I'm doing lots of gluing. Okay, right, let's flip this over. Right, now we're going to pop this in. And I'm just going to line that up. Like so. There we are. That's giving that a bit of sturdiness as well, because you've got the waterfall on the back. That's just sturdied up that page a bit for us. See, and then when they come over like that, you're going to get that pop of colour. Right. Okay. So our two straight edges, making sure that I get the letters up the right way. So let's get these on. Let's get one on first. I'm going to go round the houses with this, I think. I'm going to do one, then the other, and then sort of go around like that. Just so that I can make sure everything lines up. Okay, right. Let's tuck that in on the middle there. Make sure that's nice and evenly spaced. And if I fold that over, when I come to put this one on, I can check to see whether that is going to pretty much line up. That corner there is going to pretty much line up with the strip that I've just put in, which it does, and it gives me the same sort of distance on the other side. I'm just going to glue this one on. Okay, and just fold that over so I can see what I'm doing. I'm getting that even black trim coming round as well. That's all nice and level and flat. That's good. Right, okay, and then let's come and do the top bit as well. Make sure this is okay. Put a nice bit of glue on for this bit. Okay, and again, just sit that down, making sure that I've got the same sort of depth going all the way around, and that sort of lines up as close as we can. It's not bad going. There we are, and then the final bit will come in now. Now just checking the page goes that way with my lettering, just to make sure that it's all the right way up. Can you believe it? This is our last page of our album that we're just doing here. If you think about it, 6 sides. This is page number 12. We've done 12 different designs, which I think is just brilliant that we've been able to sort of do this. Right, I'm going to fold that one down just so I can see how they all line up. And actually, that's not too bad. I'm quite pleased with that. Gives us a nice sort of black and that come across like that. You've got that nice black square bit in the middle as well. So there we are. I'm just holding them down for a minute just so you can see that. Okay, so all we've got left to do now is just put the corset little fasteners on it. So let's get all of these out. Now again, I'm pre-made some of these this morning. So, and what I've done is I've picked up on the pinks and the blues. So there's a pink one there, pink one there. Let's just put these down. So I've done them alternate. Got a little blue one, got another little blue one there. Let's see, blue one goes in that way, pink one, because the top one, whoops, you see what I mean. All right, I'll put them there for a minute because they're obviously not staying on the page. Okay, now this one I've left open because I'm going to tie the cord round it. So I've got a longer length because obviously we've got much bigger zigzags to do on this one. All right, so I think I did about 40 inches. Okay, it is quite long, but obviously you can trim off once you're happy with it, the length and that, and how much tail you want left on it. So I'm just going to again tie a little loop, tie that round. So on this one again, I've used 2 of the black discs and then glue them together, and then another black disc and a pink one, again using the dies from Call for Cats. Right, let's just open these up so that holds that in place like so. Let's push that down, that's just come up. Try and get that as it's centered. Okay, and again I'm just going to run my thumb round these just to sort of split those a little bit so we can get the cord in. It's a little bit fiddly, but it'll just help just ease those open a little bit. They're like the 2 discs coming together, so you can get that done like that. Okay, all right. Let's just trim off that little bit. Oh, they weren't the scissors I used because they've just frayed that. There we go. Okay. So what we need to do is glue these down evenly spaced across. Okay. So I think what we'll do is we'll put the centre ones on first. So let's just have a little measure. Always have a little measure. So that along there is about 4 1/4. So we want 2 1/8, which will give us the centre. So let's just rest that on there so I can just roughly line it up with that 2 1/8. So it's going in there somewhere. Right, so we'll get our glue. So hopefully the corset ones have all dried properly, and then we'll be able to see just what that looks like. So I'm going blue, blue and pink in the middle. So let's just bring that down a little bit. So what did I say, 2 1/8. So it's a rough guess. Yeah, that's not too bad. I'll just hold that in place for a minute. Oops, not meant to stick to my finger. You meant to stick to the card. There we go. And I've come about 1/8 of an inch in there. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is just turn this round. And I'm literally just going to lie the ruler across. So it gives me a rough guide as to where to put the blue one on this side. So plenty of glue. Okay. to hold that in situ just so that they dry. So there we go. How are we doing for time? Well, we're not doing too badly tonight. Right, okay, so that's pink one, and then I'm going to put the other pink one that's going to come over here almost into that corner. So once you've got the centered ones in, it's not too bad, then you can just get the others tucked in, as it were. Again, about 1/8 of an inch from the edge, and I'm sort of just lining, tucking that in that corner. There we go, hold that in situ. Now obviously the one that goes on here is the one with the long cord. So I'm just going to do that one last for a minute. Right, and then we're going to come down and put these other ones in. And that one moved off centre slightly. Let's push that back over a little bit. There we go. Come on, glue. That fly is still buzzing. Still buzzing around. I'm going to have to open a window, let him out. Alright, okay. I'll just hold that in place for a minute. There we are, and then I'm just going to do this one. And then we're almost there with all our pages. So the plan for my next session is going to be the covers, is doing the inside covers and the outside cover. And then what I will do is set up another event, because I only did a couple, I wasn't sure how far I'd get, to be honest. And we'll do another event for assembly, for putting the pages in, and for decorating. So that'll probably be the week after next week, if you see what I mean. So the next 2 Thursdays is when I'm going to be carrying on doing a few more bits. Okay, that one's slightly out of sync, that one in the middle, but never mind. Right, okay, and then finally we're going to do this last one. We're going to stick this on. So just dab in lots of the book binding glue on that. Let's put the lid on that. Okay, just tie that in like so. Just hold it all into place. You can see what I'm doing there. So the whoops. Come on, you're meant to stick to the paper, not to my finger. Told you that. Right, okay. So this will then obviously go round and up and down and up and down. And then you have the bit on the end. I may have cut a little bit more than what I thought I should have had, but you know what? I think I'm going to let them dry. But as a rough guess, let's just roughly do this. So that go round and up. And round and then down, and then up there, and then down, and then that bit should come up and over the top. So actually, no, that was pretty spot on. Actually, about 40 inches in length. I did that. So let's just glue them down. Make sure that they're fastened. Right. Okay. So in which case, then I'm going to tie a knot in the end of this one. The end of this cord. As I said before, this is the waxed black cord that I'm using, but I mean, you could use embroidery threads, you could do string. It depends really what you want, what effect you want. So let's just trim that. Right, okay, so I'm going to glue this one down. Let's move that in so you can see what I'm doing. So plenty of glue on there. Whoops, stuck to my finger. I think it's getting to that stage of night where I've probably got more glue on me than I have on anything else. Right, let's just tuck you down. And this last little bit, I'm going to put a bit of glue on. Just a little bit to go over the top. Here we are, we're nearly there, nearly finished. Oops, there we go. All right, and then I'm going to pop that one on there. Try and put it on straight, Deb. It does help, you know. Right, okay, as I said, this is the last page. I can't believe that we've got through all these pages. Just hold that in. Just glue that down. And then I've got my little discs to go on at the end, and I've just done one pink, one blue, so either side, it doesn't matter. And they can tuck on like so. That's it. Oh no, it's got a little bit of glue there. I can see the little dot there, so I'm just going to pick that up and pop that back in. It's come out. Did that go in there? Yeah, I think it has. Okay, and then we're just going to stick the pink one on. Not quite sure where the pink little dot went, but never mind. Okay. And we'll tuck that on there. And there we have it. So I'm just going to leave this one to dry. So I'll just go and grab the corset one that we made earlier, just so you can see what it looks like when it's all done. So, but that is the final page. That is our picture page, our picture frame. So obviously you can go in and you can line your papers, because this is what I've got here, some more papers to line the inside with. So that's a little job that I can do later on, and you do exactly the same as what you did for the outside. So there's nothing too complicated with that now we've gone through and done that. Right, and here we are. There's the page, the corset page that we did earlier. So we've got the two, so these should have dried by now. So just tuck that in. You can just, if you need to, give it a little bit of a helping hand. That goes round, that one tucks in between, that one goes round, and you can sort of go up if you want. You can do these whichever way you want. I mean, I've just done it one way, depends on how much, which way you want to do these. That goes like that, and then you've got the other one, so we could do this one as a zig, as a cross that can come up and over and round this side like so, and there we are. And that's our corset page. Actually, let's do that the same as the other way, because that looks so much better. So we come across, just need a little bit of, once you've done it a couple of times they'll work. Okay, we're going to come across like so and go, there we are. Let's just make sure that that's lifting up. Okay, that goes in there. There we go, and comes around to the, whoops, come on, that's it, round in there and up and round. There we go, just give it a little helping hand. And there we are, and there's the corset page, which is what we did right at the beginning. Okay, so that is all our pages done. The album itself, let's just go back over a couple of so here we are. So this is the album cover that we made with the hinges. So just re-looking at some of our pages, obviously these will go in, and what we need to do is make a decision as to what order I'm going to be putting these in terms of looking at the colours, colourways and everything, and seeing which way I want to do this. It's like the accordion. Now this one is the mirror image, so that opens up. So I've just got to put a couple of strips coming in along there, and all the photo mats. So all the photo mats and stuff have got to be put in and done, and some of the other pages finished and decorated. But I think just looking at the album, certainly different colorways I've used compared to the main one that I made, but I think at the end of the day, it's obviously your choice how you want to decorate it. So I think it's good to sort of experiment, I suppose, and just have a little look and see what you're doing. So I'm just putting this one round now, trying to get these in between the discs. As I said, they take a little while just to once they firmly. I don't want to over force it because of the glue still drying, but just to give you a bit of an idea of what it's gonna look like. Let's tuck that in round there. Oh, that one's come off a little bit. Okay, I'll leave that for now. Right. Okay, and then it will be just a case of deciding what order the pages are going to go in, putting the photo mats in that we're going to do, and then what we will be doing is next week is decorating the inside covers and doing the outside cover. So we are finishing a little bit earlier tonight, and thankfully we've not been cut off by the internet or a power cut, which is brilliant. Thank goodness for that. So all I'm going to say is thanks ever so much for watching. Do pop over and have a look on the YouTube channel for part 1 and part 2, and I will upload part 3 probably tomorrow, so you've got that to go back on and have a little look. And if you've not downloaded the instructions, the cutting and scoring guide for the flapper album, then please go and check out craftywafty.co.uk. If you put in flapper album, it will come up. It's free. You don't have to pay anything for the pattern. I'm giving it to you for free. So do go in, check it out. Also have a little look at all the kaleidoscope stuff, because when we come to decorating, there is loads and loads of goodies. These are just some of the bits that that we have. So you've got the kaleidoscope chipboard set, words. What else have we got? Oh, these are the laser cut elements. So there's 2 packs for that. And what else have I got that I can show you? Oh, these are the die cut shapes, the ephemera pieces. I mean, there's absolutely loads and loads of goodies. And why I didn't decorate the first album in terms of all the embellishment bits is that I wanted to get both albums done out the way, and then I can just blitz it and work out exactly what I want to use where. Oh, and hang on, I've just forgotten one other thing. And there's also the acetate shapes as well. So you've got loads of goodies to go and have a little look at that will really enhance the albums once they're all done and finished. Okay, well, on that note then, I'm going to say thank you for watching. I'm going to go and make myself a hot cup of tea now, and I'm going to go and put my feet up and give Mickey the cat, who, to be honest, has been really good this evening. He did visit us last week. He did try and jump up on the table last week, but this week he's been fast asleep on the sofa. So I think he may have got worn out today. But anyway, so thank you for watching again, and I'll look forward to seeing you all next week. Take care, everybody. Have a lovely weekend. Bye.